Awesome. Well, hello everyone. I am Samantha Watson Alvarado. Prefer Sam, she, her, hers pronouns. I am a born and raised in Contra Costa County. I grew up in Martinez, and I have been a resident of Rodeo for the last 13 years. I am mom to two children that go to school in John Swett Unified School District. Professionally, I've been working in West Contra Costa County for the last 14 years. I am a former preschool teacher and a mental health professional currently, serving young children and families. Yeah, I'm a parent. I've been very involved in the schools for my daughter's in seventh grade, so the last 7 years. And I'm really excited to be a candidate for the school board.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Now I get to ask that question. What are your top three priorities if elected?
Yeah. So my top three priorities, if elected, number one is continuing to build up the infrastructure and the implementation of our community schools framework. That is something we are in year 4, we might be in year 5 of the community schools funding that we received from the state and some from the federal government. And that is something that I've sat on an action team for the last 2 school years and feel very connected to that work and want to make sure that it is integrated at all levels of the district, and that there's a deep understanding and a shared commitment for the implementation and sustainability of that. My second priority is continuing to support equitable community engagement. I really believe that all families, regardless of what language they speak, should feel like they have a space and a place within our district to voice concern, to be able to understand what is being shared. And I think our district could really bolster that, specifically around translation of Spanish language. And then the last one is really to support and grow the trust of our community for families to want to choose John Swett Unified. We have declining enrollment that's been happening for years. There's many families that John Swett Unified is their district to send their children, yet they make decisions not to. And I would love to support the board to have a better understanding of why families do that, and to support helping families to want to be proud to choose John Swett Unified.
Okay, great. Your next question will come from Maria.
Good afternoon, Sam. Nice to meet you. How would you work with others to support the school district's priorities?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in collaboration, and I don't believe any one person or even any one team can make any priority happen. And so I do think it is really working with this variety of stakeholders that are a part of our district. Families is number one. And then there's our greater community. There is making sure, I think, because I've worked professionally on teams and have done like program management and gone in and supported like restructuring organizations, for example, and programs, is really going in and listening. I want to listen. I want to learn and understand things at the district level and be able to ask those hard questions or be curious of why certain stakeholders or people aren't in the room, and then find ways to make sure that the district can increase those efforts. So I really think it's listening. It's listening to our community. It's finding ways to invite the community in, and that community, there's tiers to it. So again, There's the community, there's the families, there's the students, there's the educators, there's the support staff, there's our administrators, and then we have our superintendent. And so again, I know the board's role is not to manage the day-to-day operations, but to really support the superintendent in on making sure we understand that the superintendent understands the pulse within each of our schools, and finding ways to support her to support the implementation of and the success of those priorities.
Okay.
Okay, and your next question will come from the Honorable Dr. Cheryl Suddeth. Cheryl?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Sam. What is the largest issue facing student safety in your area? And that's part one. Part two is how can the schools be made safer for our students and staff?
So I think one of the biggest safety issues that is a part of our community is the what I have heard from others in the community and have bared witness to, because I did do some substitute teaching as well, and just being an active volunteer on the campuses, is the rampant bullying and inappropriate, like unkind behaviors that are often seen on campus. And I think it's those behaviors, unfortunately, that have also reinforced some families' ideologies of particular groups of students. So I think there is a way in which, how do we hold children are children and they need to learn and grow? And what support systems do we have in place in our schools to promote pro-social behaviors, social emotional competencies, anti-bullying, inclusivity, and understanding that diversity is a strength. How do we promote that within our schools? Because I think with the narrative that I've heard within the community around particular groups of students, there's ways in which they have to be addressed in order for families to choose our schools and to continue to choose our schools. And I'm a little bit thrown off on the timer, so I don't know if I still have time.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay.
You should be, I think, at this point down. Sorry.
Okay. I believe I
You're
answered
okay.
the question, but I may have missed a piece. I'm sorry.
Well, the next question comes from Irene.
Sorry, guys, I'm having some tech issues. Would someone mind handling the next question?
Oh,
Do you want me to ask it? You want me to ask it or
I
Go
can
ahead,
do it.
Cheryl.
me?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what will you do to ensure equity and inclusivity for students of all ethnic, religious, and genders in public education?
Yeah, I mean, I think this comes in multiple layers, but I think if elected and if I earn the privilege of getting to sit on the school board, I really think part of the board's role in that and what I would see my contribution being is ensuring that our school district has policies that protect students and protect their ability to be who they are authentically, whether that means, being asked to use certain, they choose their pronouns and what's their preferred name, and celebrating, and I think this is something our school district has done very well, but like celebrating all like the multicultural months, despite our nation not doing that, that we can practice those things within our district. I think, again, representation, that like we have a board, and we have administrators and staff that represent our community, so families can see themselves and students can see themselves within the district leadership as well. I think that's necessary. I also think it's modeling, asking the questions, reviewing policies if there's a gap of like, why isn't something being addressed. I'm not shy to ask questions when I don't see something or don't understand something. So I do think if elected, that is something I hope to, an attribute of myself that I hope to be able to bring to the board.
Okay, Tiffany says she lost connection.
I can take the next question.
Okay, thank you, Irene.
Sam, and thank you for bearing with us with all the tech issues.
All good.
Do you support the teaching of climate literacy policy in our schools?
Climate literacy policy. So I will tell you, I'm not super familiar with this particular policy, but I can off what I believe it would be, which is, I don't know if I can ask questions about a question, so I don't know if that's very helpful, but is it around like the climate and culture of the schools related to like DEI, or are we thinking about literally climate, like global warming sort of stuff? I guess that's what I have to ask. I don't know if you're allowed to answer that, or do you want me just to answer for both?
Yeah, why don't you answer for both and we'll try to get clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everyone is frozen, so I don't know if anyone can hear me.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so why don't, Jamin, would you mind pausing the timer just for a
Yeah,
moment?
of course.
Thank you.
Yes, unfortunately, Tiffany lost connection.
Yes. So if someone who is more education focused would like to field
Yeah.
Sam's question.
Yeah, we're not able to clarify the question for you, but why don't you just answer it the best of your ability?
Okay, well, I will do it very quickly then. So I fully believe in a whole child approach to education, and whether that is culture and climate, where we're talking about like diversity, equity, and inclusion of practices, beliefs. I think that's a necessary part of our education system, and if we're not talking about it, we then are not. We are not addressing the real world around us. Having been trained in psychotherapy, it's called speaking the unspeakable. And I think that's a necessary part of the work we do with young children. And I also think that when we think about climate and culture, that public education is a version of practicing democracy at its finest. Where we're able to voice our opinions, voice our thoughts, challenge what is known to be true, and to explore what could be true and what other possibilities are.
Is Tiffany back? No?
Not
Okay.
yet.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I've omitted assigning question number 6, so I'm going to assign myself 6 and I'm assigned to 7, if that's okay. So the 6 is, what is your position on teaching civic engagement within the school curriculum?
I feel like I'm pro teaching that, because civic engagement is all in how we show up as a community. Civic engagement is the ways in which we care for one another. It's the ways in which we give back. Again, I think it goes back to like our classrooms are microsystems of a larger democracy. And I think if we're not teaching civic engagement, teachers are literally doing that in practice. They are showing up in community to serve support the growth of our community. And that is how we build the next leaders. That is how we build people who do show up and come into these meetings and ask the hard questions. I don't know how you can have education without teaching civic engagement.
Okay, I'll move along to the next question is, what would your policy be on making sure students' nutritional needs are met? What percentage of your students receive free reduced lunches, and how do you ensure they are fed during summer and vacation months? Making sure our students don't go hungry.
Yeah, so I actually say this is something our district does very, very well. So I would want to make sure that we can sustain what we are doing really well around this. To answer the question around the specific percentage of how many students receive free and reduced meals, I don't actually know the exact percentage. However, our school district has, since COVID and has continued, all students in our district at all 3 school locations receive free meals at all 3 schools, all grades. In addition to that, over the summer, we also have a summer food program where anyone in the community can go to our school sites to get meals. And so I would want to make sure, if I'm elected on the school board, to ensure that we are able to sustain those practices. They are necessary. Schools, and that is also a part of like the community schools framework, is how do we support our community around such issues. We know that food is even more expensive than ever. Families do struggle to access high quality, good meals. And schools are places where families come to get support. And so I think, again, it's continuing those practices. And maybe there was another part to that question I'm going to pull up. I think just to share one of the things I did when I was on the PTA's leadership, when I was the PTA president, we made sure that all events were free to our students. And we also used PTA funding to make sure that every person that showed up at a PTA event after hours received a free meal. So it is something that I have done in practice as well.
Thank you. Okay, Cheryl, Madam Dr. Cheryl, you're next.
Thank you. So, how would you support programs such as career technical education, CTE, dual enrollment, career exploration, industry certifications, and college advising while ensuring equitable access for all students? That question is in the chat if you need to read it.
Thank you. Again, I think this is something our district is implementing currently. It is something that has been a priority on the Community Schools Action Team, which is something I have been a part of for the last 2 years. And some of the ways in which we have implemented that, and I would want to make sure, again, if I'm elected to the board, that the board, together with the superintendent, understand the importance of this. There are so many pathways for students post-graduation. And there is ways in which we can integrate those pathways and those opportunities to learn in their school experience. And so some of those things that we have done is, one of the things that's underway currently is the partnership with I believe it's the Steamfitters Union, but they're going to be coming in and teaching students about those jobs and taking a bus to the union hall and talking with them. We've also introduced like broader career days on our middle school and high school campuses, where we have people from the trades, people who are in, who have gotten college degrees and are working in other fields, people who are entrepreneurs and own their own businesses. And I think it's really about giving students the access to learn about these pathways and know what is available to them. And we actually specifically have funding through the community schools budget to support these programs. So I would just want to make sure that if I'm elected, that I can continue to elevate the importance of that, and ensure we have practice policy. Maybe we need a policy for it. I don't know if one currently exists, but ensuring that that practice can be sustainable and just become a part of the culture of our district.
Thank you, Sam. The next question for me is, how will you work to ensure special education, music, art, and theater programs, and classes like wood shop, auto shop, journalism, etc., are adequately staffed and fully funded?
Yeah, this is I would say I didn't list it as one of my priorities. So if I had a top 5, it would have been in there. But again, going back to elevating the community schools framework, it is all about whole child education, and that we have, yes, math, science, reading, writing, and also art, theater, music, drama, sports, that all of those things actually, when we are able to provide students with an education that allows them to access those experiences, there's such benefits to it. And I think, again, it's, if I'm elected to the board, like if something were to come across the board meetings where it's like, we have to cut this and that, I would definitely be someone to say, let's really think about this, because let's understand what are the risks to doing this. And we've worked very hard in our district to increase these opportunities. And so I would really want to question if those were to be taken away. I would be an advocate for keeping them, and making sure we find, if it's more funding, more partnerships, whatever it is, to make sure we can continue to have those within our school. And I think with special education, there is more children than ever who are meeting criteria for special education. And I think we need to do an even better job at ensuring that we have adequately staffed classrooms with high quality credentialed teachers, in addition to highly trained and paraprofessionals. You can't have one or the other. You need both in special education programs, and supporting that co-teaching model.
Miss Maria, do you want me to handle 10 and then you wrap it up?
Sure,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Sam, how will you work with the various unions in your school district to ensure all of our education workers receive good pay, benefits, and working conditions?
Yeah. So I think it is about ensuring that when there's district level meetings, so whether that's a board meeting, whether that's a special district level committee, that there's appropriate stakeholders. So making sure that we have consistent and effective communication with the union representatives. And that is something that I have had a little bit of experience in, sitting on the community action team, of getting to be in the same room, planning, supporting decision making, not just with support staff, but with both the teachers union and then so there's the teachers union, and then I want to say it's the classified staff, but I might be mislabeling. It's CSEA. But just making sure that those representatives are in the room. They get dedicated time to share what's happening on the ground, and being part of the shared decision making at the district level. And what else with that? Let me pull up the question real quick. Yeah, and I also think we have to constantly be evaluating what good pay, benefits, and working conditions looks like, and making sure that that's a priority of the district, that we're reviewing things like COLA increases, making sure that we have a way to recruit and retain teachers and support staff. We have really amazing retention in JSUSD. And I think one of the things the district is going to have to do more of in the coming years is how are we going to recruit and retain the more high quality staff to fill those soon to be retired teachers positions.
Okay, Sam. Now this is your moment. You have 1 minute. I was going to say 1 hour, 1 minute to wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just wanted to say thank you all. I actually think, Maria, you were the one who called me to invite me to this. So I'm glad my information came across this group. I also wanted to share, I recently learned on Friday that I was endorsed by the Contra Costa Labor, Labor Union, Labor Council. I'm sorry, I'm still learning all these things. So I was endorsed by them. And I think at the end of it, like I'm a parent. This is my community. I want my kids and I want my neighbors and, you know, maybe my kids one day to be able to live and support this amazing district. We are a small district. We have one elementary, one middle school, and high school. That is rare. And I really would love to see our community rally and be proud of our schools in the same way that we are proud of Rodeo baseball. And I would love to see more of that. And I hope that if I'm elected and if I earn your endorsement, that I'm someone who gets really excited about things. And when I get excited about things, I want to talk about it. I want to connect people. I want to be in conversation. I hope I've answered your questions in a way that you would want to endorse me.